Yeah, we're just, oops, sorry.
Okay, so today we're here from the film fest, and I'm Kevin. I'm interviewing Scott Monahan.
Hi, how's it going? Scott Monahan.
Scott Monahan and Dakota Loesch.
Hi, I'm Dakota Loesch.
And we're gonna talk a bit about their film Anchorage. Tell us a bit about it.
Let's start with Dakota on this one.
Let's start with Dakota on this one.
Let's start with Dakota on this one. Let me give you
Is there an echo in here?
Anchorage is about two brothers trying to drive a trunk full of opioids from Florida to Alaska to cash in big in the land of gold. But a split-second act of violence somewhere in the California desert derails their trick and sets them on a crash course with tragedy. So, kind of an easy rider for the opioid age, you know?
Sounds good. The trailer was very promising.
Cool.
And you were the writer, right?
Yes, I was the screenwriter. Scott was the director. We're both actors. We're both producers. We did the catering.
So pretty much self-made, yeah?
Yes, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Yep.
It really was like a little guerrilla project, like a summer camp project, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you know, yeah. All right, let's get this. You good? Yeah, you buckled in? Are you in mine? Am I in yours?
Not yet.
Oh.
Have you seen the movie yet?
I think tomorrow is the international premiere.
Yes.
Are you excited?
Yes. I'm already picking out my outfit. We're trying to write jokes for the Q&A already. Yes, we're very excited, yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think we always had this idea that this film would be international audiences might enjoy it, maybe in some cases more so than an American audience, because, you know, for myself, I grew up on a military base in a foreign country in Japan, and so I was a foreigner in Japan, but also when I moved back to America, I felt like a foreigner to my own country because I hadn't grown up there. And so it gave me this perspective on the country that I live in to look at it from the outside. And it's not the bright and shiniest version of America. It is the underbelly, an untold story, the unseen the effects of the opioid epidemic. Because a lot of times drug movies are about either it's all fun and games, or it is about like the rehab and the rehabilitation. And for me and for Dakota, it was very important to show drug users and drug abusers and people that are being abused by a system of drugs, drugs created to be addictive, and to show how they are trapped in that system. And not just the system of addiction and drug dealing and selling, but also the American dream, the capitalist society, this money-based system of pharmaceutical companies that are making drugs that they know will kill people and that are designed to be addictive, so you need more. And then when you can't get them from the doctor because your prescriptions are up, which is rarely the case because they hand them out like candy canes or like Berliner Loose, you know, like here it's like
oh boy,
you know. And so it's I'm very excited to share this and my perspective, my opinion about this and our story, our one little story in the teardrop, the
ocean of other stories like it. Absolutely.
And with German audiences, I mean, I have a very I love Germany. I came a couple years ago for the first time, and I truly fell in love with this country. And Dakota,
my family's from Germany originally. Actually, I've never been out of the country either, so it's not like Anchorage was my ticket to leave the country and get to come visit the homeland, the motherland, or the fatherland, or whatever, you know. So it's great to be here.
The mother and fatherland.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole family. We got the whole kit and caboodle.
Or no fatherland. You know what I mean?
But yeah, no, it's just lovely to be here, and this festival is so wonderful. It's such a feeling of community and friendship, and just off the bat, and such a wonderful selection of films. So yeah, it is lovely to be here. Yeah, and there's smoking lounges at the airport.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, yeah. I felt like a kid again. We're smoking inside, having a beer, getting ready for the plane. It's like, this is the best it could ever be.
So they treat you well, yeah?
What's that? Oh yeah, they've been treating us so wonderfully. Yeah, and then it's just like everyone's hanging out, all the personnel, all the other filmmakers, everyone in town, and it's just like a lovely mix, of all the local businesses and all the like film lovers and just people like some tourists and yeah, just a great mix of people.
Yeah,
it's been a really good cast of characters. You know?
Sounds very great. Sounds very great.
Yeah.
So you talked about the opioid epidemic. You wrote about it. How did you come up with it? Why was it a topic that you chose for a movie?
It was something that me and Scott bonded on because like we were both affected by it in different ways, the opioid epidemic. And to be quite honest, everyone in America has been. Like whether or not you've experienced it or the drug personally or dealt with the drug personally, you know someone who has. You know, it was estimated more than 50% of the country during the 2000s was on an opioid or knew someone who was prescribed to an opioid. So it really is just so prevalent. That was something we bonded on. And I had family living in Florida in the early 2000s, and that's when the boom really happened, because in the early 2000s 85% of the US's opioids was prescribed through the state of Florida, and there was no national registry, so you could just get hundreds of pills. Like, it was so easy to get pills. They would advertise for it on taxi cabs, and there was this idea of the drug runners El Dorado. Well, if you could go to Florida and get all those cheap drugs and take them up somewhere where no one could get, I don't know, go to California, go to the Yukon, go to Anchorage, you could make a killing, you know? So that was like a little bit of it. And then we're both attracted to like two-handers, like Waiting for Godot,
Queen and Slim,
Easy Rider,
Bert and Ernie.
Bert and Ernie, yeah, totally. Fozzie and Kermit.
Fozzie and Kermit, yeah. Wait, who's Fozzie is the question.
You're driving, right?
Yeah,
you're Fozzie.
I'm Fozzie?
Yeah, and
I
I'm
always
Kermit.
thought I was more of a Kermit.
No, but you are Kermit.
I don't know, you're kind of dangly and like, you know.
I think, it's not a perfect thing. It's kind of like you put it together and what do you got? Bippity boppity boo. That's right.
So, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So I get that you guys are like good friends. How did you actually get in contact? How did you get in touch?
How do we meet?
Yeah,
I'll take this one.
Yeah,
we met each other in a warehouse in downtown LA. I used to help run this venue that was called Montserrat, and we were doing a theater show together. And he showed like multiple small shows inside of a bigger show. And I saw Dakota perform, and we met. And then a few months later, we ended up doing this show together. And then we were part of an immersive theater company. And if you don't know what immersive is, it's kind of blowing up all over the world right now, but it's like, imagine you're in a theater and all the stages are gone and you get to walk around the show.
Yeah, you could walk around with the characters, interact with them, you know, live with them.
So Dakota and I, and in that process, the way that we work is that we create and devise a show from nothing. So there is no script to start with. And we did 5 shows that way, where the rehearsal process takes 3 to 4 months of figuring out the show, figure out the movement, and through that, it inspired us to work in our film in the same way. Rather than just sitting at the typewriter and writing a script, him and I were able to take these concepts and improvise them. So we would have an idea of where the story was going, and it's like, all right, let's take some versions of the scene and see where it goes. And that's, I think, enabled us to find our own chemistry and bring that into a story where the script that we had, it felt
the
real.
writing went up to the very end, because like we wrote a blueprint, you know what I mean? Like an average script is supposed to be 1 page equals 1 minute. So if we made an 82-minute movie, we should have an 82-page script. We had something that was about half of that, because we'd write up to a point in the scene and be like, let's leave it for the desert. Let's wait till we're out in the desert and see what happens, you know? So we trusted each other to know that we would get to the end eventually, that we knew A, B, C, and that we'd get to Z eventually. And then we'd kind of just like inspect it and figure it out as we went. And that was the fun of it too. So the writing of it went up until the last day, you know? So, and it was the most interesting writing process I've ever been involved in. Really, it was us hanging out at the table, you know, maybe a little brandy sometimes, and just talking it out, like, what about this? What about that? What about that? And then I felt more like, if in the writing, like a stenographer in a court, just taking notes, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was a beautiful and our whole crew, you know, there was 10 of us total, because we shot it chronologically in 5 days. The whole crew was there and knew right where we were too. They had great ideas, you know, the PA could have a great idea, the sound person could have a great idea, and it didn't matter where the idea came from, best idea wins, because it's all in service of the movie. So it was just like a perfect little setup, you know, and it just felt like a compact little guerrilla affair. I don't know.
Sounds very good.
We had fun, yeah. Whew.
Yeah, I believe you. So you included basically everyone's ideas, did you?
Oh, absolutely, as much as possible. And, you know, we had a little read-through before we left. And I do think there's something about, because, you know, it's not common to shoot chronologically. Most of the time, everything's broken up in different orders, and it's because of scheduling. When can we get this actor in, or when are they available? When can we get this location? So because we shot chronologically for 5 days, the story could progress as we went along. And I mean, there was even things like, you know, we had plans for an ending, and then on our 4th day of driving, we had a little mishap where we had our real license plate on the front of the car and the prop license plate on the back, so we got pulled over by a police officer, and that really influenced a little bit of, I don't want to give away too much, but that really influenced where we went with the story, because we could adapt and just go off what was happening right then and there. Yeah.
Okay, I think the interview is near the end.
No, we're having so much fun.
We had so much fun.
Come on, let's go to the disco. We're gonna get some Berliner Luft. Yeah.
There's one last thing to do. We're sitting in the car.
Okay. First, before we start this.
Yeah.
Before we start this, all right. And I know in the movie my line is, you know, okay, I'm not gonna teach this to you, okay? Because this thing. We did not come up with it. It's old, like a campfire song, and my mom taught it to me on road trips, driving from Virginia all the way up to Indiana, or from Virginia down to Florida to see my grandparents that were in different sides. So these 15-hour rides, we would play all these games, and this was one of them. And the concept of the game is that you can't be taught it; you just have to learn it as you go. So I can't teach it to you. I'm not going to slow it down to teach it to you.
Slow it down to teach it to you, but
but you just gotta
I'm with you.
repeat
Yeah,
after me.
I'm with you.
So
All right.
it goes.
Who holds the microphone though?
Here, I got you.
You can do it. You can do a little knee thing like that.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
So it goes. Just I will teach you this part. Clap, clap, snap, clap. All right. You got it.
All right, and then Scott will set us, and we're gonna repeat what he says.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Repeat after me. I'm not gonna slow it down. All right. Flee.
Flee.
Flee, fly.
A flea fly.
A flea, fly, flow.
A flea fly flow.
I'm a llama, kuma llama, I'm a llama vista.
I'm a llama, kuma llama, I'm a llama vista.
Oh, no, 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 not the vista.
Oh, no, 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 not the vista.
Eeny, meeny, estamini, ooh, watcha, wanna, meeny.
Eeny, meeny, estamini, ooh, watcha, wanna, meeny.
Watcha, meeny, ooh, watcha, wanna, meeny, why?
Meeny, ooh, watcha, wanna, meeny, why?
You got it.
Beatin' belly, oatin', dotin', bobos, skidittin', dottin', bobos, squattin', dottin', bottin', dottin', chow.
Beaten belly, oatin', dotin', bobos, skidittin', dottin', bobos, squattin', owl.
Bottin', dottin', chow. Hey, chow, Bella. He
Wonderful
was.
job.
Hey, you know what?
Wonderful
Yeah,
job.
you did a good job for the first time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for the interview.
Yeah,
Have a great rest of the week.
And by the way, you can find us on Instagram at Anchorage Movie, and he's at Dakota Loesch.
Yeah, and
I'm
that's,
at Chips Ahoy Junkie.
Otherwise, we'll be at the disco.
At the disco. And
Right,
at the
you heard
movies.
it.
We love you guys. Hey, thanks for driving, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you.